Alright, this video is going to be a little bit different. I think I'm going to do this for the rest of the year and next year too. I'm basically just going to give you my main takeaways and major points from each matchup and each game every week. So it's just like analysis, just giving you one main point, so it's a little bit easier to watch and it takes less time. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and start this off. Orlando played at Memphis, and we saw an incredible Memphis performance in a game that they probably should have won. And my main takeaway and reaction from this game was the disappointing calls from the referees during the game, especially at the end. If you saw this game, you saw Mike Singletary was livid. He was so angry at the referees, and rightfully so. Some of those were some pretty bad calls. Garrett Gilbert, he turned it over twice, and so far we've basically seen 2 games where he's turned it over. This game, which he probably should have lost, and then the Arizona game, which they did lose. But the Memphis offense was looking pretty good. They didn't really find much running room, they haven't found much running room in the past couple of weeks. But Brandon Silvers has been playing really well, and the offense is opening up. Shepard at wide receiver had a big day, but I really think that this that the Express kind of got robbed of this one, and it's sad for them because they're now out of the playoffs with the Birmingham win and the Memphis. Well, this game was probably the ugliest all season. The score was 8-3, and it was just ugly all around. Salt Lake City ended up winning, keeping their playoff hopes slim, but definitely alive. Josh Woodrum didn't really play well. Mike Bercovici did not play well at all. He had some horrible throws and horrible plays. He completed just 46% of his passes. Basically, the team with the better defense really won this game because both offenses were not playing well. And that's just the main takeaway. But Salt Lake fans, y'all are technically still in it. I think it's a slim chance, but there's technically a chance. The Atlanta Legends fell short to the Birmingham Iron. The Iron very easily could have lost this game. Atlanta just had way too many struggles in the red zone. 9 points in the red zone, no touchdowns, just field goals. And they could have easily had another field goal or possibly a touchdown. There's a fourth and goal line stand by the Birmingham Iron defense, which is pretty tough down inside that red zone, which is part of why they have been so successful this year. Luis Perez is probably not going to start in the next coming weeks. I think Keith Price is going to get a shot at it. He played well. He's different than Luis Perez. He's more mobile. Watch him at Washington. He can run that option. Kind of opens up the defense. When Trent Richardson was in there with him, Trent was running a little bit better. Part of that because of the option. The defense has to look out for Keith Price. So he brings something different to the table, and Trent played well. So now the Iron are going to play in Orlando for the semifinal game. Next week they play Arizona. That'll be interesting to see, kind of the second team of the East playing the second team of the West, depending on who wins the Commanders-Arizona game. So that'll be fun to watch. Our game of the week and final game of Week 8 was the Commanders and Arizona game. Now, Arizona came out. They looked really good. They won 23-6. They're starting to take that first, possibly, spot of the West. They are definitely here to get that home field advantage for the playoffs. And, the Commanders' game plan was to try and run the ball all over this Arizona defense. And they did get a lot of yardage, but they were not able to convert, and they weren't able to keep drives going. They weren't having any sustainable drives, and they weren't getting in the end zone. When they got into the red zone, this offense just kind of sputtered. So they actually changed quarterbacks, went from Logan Woodside to Marquise Williams. And Williams didn't play horribly. He had that one fumble at the end, but there wasn't really much he could do. He had a couple passes that he probably would have liked to have back. One, his receiver was held, but he was open, and I feel like Williams probably should have hit his receiver on one route that could have been a touchdown pass. But yeah, San Antonio They thought that they could rely on the run game, but Arizona was ready for it, and Arizona's offense was very, very strong. So it'll be interesting to see how Birmingham and Arizona play each other next week. That'll probably be the game of the week. Is Arizona the #1 team to y'all? They beat Orlando, they beat San Antonio, they also beat San Diego pretty handily. I think Arizona is starting to look like one of the best teams in the Alliance right now.